There were many times I would come home and just cry, or I would just be like, oh my God, what am I doing? Or this is ridiculous. I mean, even when you're in the midst of working and things are good, you have moments of feeling these things. So it's partly, yes, I have these dreams, and are they ever going to happen? Am I ever going to build that dream? And then living that dream has its challenges. So there's always times when you have to sit and regroup. I think it's love. I think that's why I'm here, for love. I mean, if we were all to meditate every day on sending love out to the world and to people, and to, and visualize what we really wanted the world to look like, instead of focusing on what's being put out to us all day long, things would shift. No matter how you want to age, it's fine. In my opinion, that's how I feel about aging, is that if you want to go and get a nip and a tuck because it's available, and thank goodness it's available, right? It's nice that it's available. And if you also want to age more naturally and just kind of see what happens along the way, and you can change your mind.
Just before we dive into this week's episode, I want to thank you for tuning in for this very first episode of Pose in English. To make sure you don't miss our upcoming episodes, don't forget to subscribe. It only takes a few seconds, and it really helps support the podcast. And of course, feel free to like the video and leave a comment. Thanks again, and let's get started.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous, je suis Alexandre Mars et vous écoutez Pause, le podcast où on prend le temps. Le temps de comprendre comment rendre l'impossible possible en explorant les parcours exceptionnels de mes invités. Qu'ils soient artistes, chefs d'entreprise, entrepreneurs sportifs ou encore activistes. Résilience, succès, inspiration, ils se dévoilent le temps d'une pause. Soyez les bienvenus.
She is an actress who's left a lasting impact on generations, from Melrose Place to the iconic Gossip Girl. With her timeless elegance and sharp professional moves, she has evolved from a beloved TV star to a true icon in fashion, beauty, and modern femininity. Today, she joins us to open up about her journey, sharing not only her massive successes, but also the hidden struggles, the ups and downs, and the lessons she's learned along the way. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Is it a good introduction, you think?
It was incredible. Thank you. It was beautiful.
I did introduce you as an actress, TV star, now iconic fashion, or just if you come with me, if we go somewhere else around the world, someone who has never watched you, maybe it does exist, on the TV show, how you will introduce yourself, how you will describe you. If I have to say, who are you, Kel?
It's interesting. I haven't really, we get these labels, right? So we never really stop to think of like what we really, how we would describe ourselves. I mean, definitely mother.
Yeah. It's mother. Funny. I was sure I would put this in my notes. She would say mom first.
Always mom.
The mom of two wonderful kids, Hermes and Helena.
Exactly. And 2 dogs, 2 cute puppies. And yeah, so mom. And I think I've always felt very, artist doesn't describe all of it, because I have definitely an entrepreneurial side. And not that they aren't the same thing, artist, entrepreneur.
It's kind of, you have
I'm just interested in a lot of things.
I know. I don't know. You know this, Kel, but this is the French podcast, the Pose podcast in English. That's wonderful. I'm super happy. My team is very happy having you there for the very first time. We know each other for years now. I know, and this is the reason why I've asked also, because you love France, you love Europe.
Yes.
Even if we met the very first time in New York,
yes.
Another city that we love. But in this podcast, we have sometimes people that know you pretty well who said, I want to ask a question to Kelly.
Okay.
So what we call the surprise pose. So, and we'll start. You'll see a lot of people want to ask you questions today. It's always nice. I like you so much. Be ready for But we start with someone that we met in New York. He's asking a question about part of this love of this French culture. We'll listen to it. Camille.
Hi, Kel. It's Camille. Well, since we never seem to be in the same place at the same time these days, I guess I have to resort to leaving you an audio message. So thanks to Alexandre, who allowed me to pose a question, I thought I would do a two-parter. You've always had such a strong affinity to France's culture, fashion, of course, and I know you've made great progress with the language. 1, will you show it off for Alexandre and his mostly French, I presume, listeners?
You know this is so Camille.
And 2, is there another language that you would have loved to learn, and why?
So when you are just thinking of the answer, thank you, Camille. So Camille, very good friend of mine as well. She has a pretty big role. She is the executive director at the International Emmy Awards. So it's a huge role. So what could be your answer? So you have to speak French. How about your French?
Oh, my children speak much better French than I do.
It was easier for them.
Yeah, they're very
time just.
And now I find when I speak French, people speak English back to me. So it's not like it used to be where you sort of had to come over to France and like really get yourself through it, and you know.
You're saying as people in France does speak better just now.
Yes, and
English.
even when I'm traveling, most people will try to start to speak French, and then they'll just say, "Let's just speak."
So how do you improve your French? Is by using Duolingo or just watching series or reading French books?
For me, just being around it and listening to it helps, and being immersed in the culture, it helps a lot. But my French isn't that great. I think Camille was teasing. I think she was giving me a hard time. You know Camille.
No, it's not true. I know Kelly, she does speak French.
Her. It's like funny.
One sentence. What can you say in French?
Je t'aime.
Oh, I love it.
Je t'aime.
It's really Emily in Paris.
I can say all the typical American French phrases. Really,
can you talk to the litmus test is when you start talking to a cab driver.
Really? Yeah.
That's where it start to being. If you are able to talk to a French cab driver, you should be good.
Yes, that makes sense.
And besides French, what's anything else you want to?
I mean, yes, my children speak German, so it would be nice to speak German.
Because their dad.
Yeah, I took it for a year. And, but they were little babies and I was working. So it's been a lot of like, okay, I'm doing my best here. I'm not immersed in the culture. It's not an easy language. But when the kids speak in German, I understand a lot of what they're saying. Just like when people speak French, I understand a lot. Yeah.
And but this is on your bucket list at some point in the future. So at some point, I want really to. Oh, you think it's too late, guys? I mean, this environment for so long, I will never be fluent.
I don't know that I'll be fluent unless I really took like 6 months and just said I'm gonna go learn the language or really focus on it.
You know the only good way to learn language,
is to get a boyfriend. Yes, or a husband, whatever. Yes, that would be nice.
So
too.
Be careful because a lot of people will just reach out to us. But let's go back to your childhood. It's interesting because you knew, and this is always interesting to me when we have guests coming here saying, I knew since I'm 8, 6, 10, 15 what I want to do. It's at 10. So at least that's what you told me. 10. You knew this. You knew that there was one direction, one goal. That's what was the click? What happened that day?
I think it's a sensitivity. I always knew I was a bit, I don't know if that's the word, but a bit aware of things around me that maybe other people weren't, or say something and they weren't seeing the same things. So when I was probably about 10, 9 or 10, or about 10, my mom took me to see a movie called The Goodbye Girl. And it was a great movie. Richard Dreyfuss was in it. And it was about this woman who was a single mom who was going through a divorce. And she had this boyfriend who played guitar, Richard Dreyfuss. And there were scenes with the daughter kind of in between the boyfriend and the mom. And I was going through the same thing in my home. I had a single mom. She had been divorced. And it was just a light bulb went off, or there was a connection of, oh, I can relate to this. I really, even if you couldn't talk about it to someone or express it or know how to express it, it was being reflected back to you on the screen. So there was always that.
But between having this perception at 10, it's pretty young to say that will be my journey. It's at 10, you don't say it will be my job, but it's I want to do something similar. I got friends coming here saying, oh, we love playing plays, and then they said because they came one day to see a play and said, I want to do this. It's slightly different.
Yeah. And I knew I wanted to be independent and
because you saw your mom just in the divorce and the impact of it. That's the reason.
I think it was just that. I think that movie was just sort of, oh, I could connect or relate, right? And it wasn't really because of the divorce, or any of that. It was more just, oh, I'm going through, or I went through something like that, and I can relate to this girl in this movie, and how cool is that? So I understood the power of it. And it wasn't really a decision to become an actress until later, but I think it was more of an intuitive,
somewhere,
oh, that's cool.
So you mentioned that my parents got divorced as well. So it wasn't an easy journey. I think it's the same for you. It was not fun. I would have preferred having the parents together. Yeah. You grew up between, so it was pretty far, right? It was between Arizona and Beverly Hills. That was the where were those two? You were living with Anne, your mom, who was an artist, model, and so oui.
Oui, j'habite avec ma mère.
Yes. Let's switch. No, why doing it in English anyway? Let's do it in French. Yeah, so you grew up with mom.
I grew up with mom.
And she does, that's the reason why you said oui, because she does speak French.
Yeah, she speaks a bit of French and she speaks a little bit of Italian, but she's,
Now she's in Florida
She's
now.
very studious. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, she's in Florida.
But you grew up together?
Yes, we grew up together. She had me super young. And yeah, we moved around a bit when I was a kid, but then we ended up in Newport Beach and, California, and I grew up in California, and then we moved to Beverly Hills. I went to Beverly Hills High School.
But Newport Beach first.
Yeah, Newport Beach first, which was a beautiful place to grow up. And and then I left home at 17 to study acting. So,
yeah, but before this, because we mentioned 10, then 17, you left.
Yeah,
everything for this, but. Between the two, any other influence or anyone else who could have influenced you to change path? And what kind of, I want you to know this because it's, you have two kids, we mentioned them. What kind of, and we won't say anything to Hermes and Elena, but what kind of, daughter you were? So what kind of, you were just doing a lot of things, you want to explore everything, you were just into work and study, and I don't know this. So what kind of, when I see you now, I'm sure I'm saying, oh, she was following some rules, but I want to know if you were just, no, I was not following rules. I was doing, I was a free spirit or not.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my grandparents and my parents were quite conservative. So I think I had a conservative upbringing, let's say, but I was also, brought up to think for myself and to question things, and I could always question everything, which was good, and have conversations with my mother. She was very open. So, I knew, I grew up in a beautiful family. Like I said, I'm very close with my family. So it's, but I always knew I wanted to just get out and see the world, really. I wanted to see different cultures. And I was trying to think of a profession that I could do that,
Oh,
really, it was aligning kind of my personality and my.
So it was more thing. Just you want to leave the family. You love the core family,
yeah, of course.
But in your mind, you said acting will help me to fly and discover the world.
Yeah, it was a conduit.
You could have taken the flight attendant or
exactly.
But it was acting.
It was acting.
So we are 17 HB Studio. That's where you started first.
Exactly.
New York, same. It's you don't go nearby. you fly over. So how do you find this one? Is someone you heard about HB Studio? It's was something someone else said that you should get there.
My mother had studied there.
That was
my mom was a model and she lived in New York and she studied at HB Studios, and so she was so lovely and took me to New York and said, "Do you want to start studying here?" I said, "Yeah." I was.
So his mom is Anne?
Yeah.
Push you, say?
She didn't push, but she was actually just supporting. She was saying, let me at least do what I can do to help you get on your way. She was very sweet.
But you were by yourself?
Yeah, then I lived there by myself. But she, took me to New York and made sure I was settled.
And then you flew back to the other side of the US.
Exactly.
And by yourself in New York, 17?
Yeah.
I
know.
I know. I know. Would you allow Elena, in a year or 2 years, your daughter, to do so?
Well, she grew up a lot in Monaco, and they're super independent there. So she's quite savvy and independent, maybe even more than I was at that age. Yeah.
Monte Carlo is maybe a bit safer than New York at that time.
It's safer, but it also creates an environment in which kids are really independent young, because they can be. Really, so it does help. So she's really savvy. I would still, though, love to just move in next door. Of course.
That's what I want to
hire bodyguards, have a driver, like anything. Of course, every parent's you're going through it too. Your kids are getting...
True, but the thing is, you went through something different and something beautiful, I think that is not only trust, is, you know what? Will go do what you think is the best for you, even if I'm sure it was painful just to be far, but it was what you want to achieve.
Yes, I think if you have this support system, that's the most important, right? I think it's really hard to move away when you don't have a support system, and even it doesn't have to be financial. It's just love. You just have someone that's there saying, "I love you, I want this for you." And you're calling, you're like, okay, I need money for the rent because I didn't realize I had to buy all this stuff for the apartment, all these things. So it's just knowing you have someone there that you can talk to and that you can, that's support.
That's support.
Nice support.
We're talking about the family, and we have another question for you. Someone just, he loves you so much. And there's a good reason, because he's not only a friend, he's your brother, Anthony. So, question from Anthony.
Okay.
Hey, Cal. It's your brother, Anthony.
Oh.
I have a question for you. If you could relive one day from our childhood, which day would you choose and why? I mean, I know it was only a couple years ago. We were kids. So I'm sure you won't have to think too long and hard for this one. I love you.
This is so beautiful. You do this. It's so sweet.
Yes.
To hear the people you love's voices in this room. We're like, oh, it's so gorgeous.
He's so nice.
So nice.
That's real brotherhood and sisterhood. He loves you so much. Mm-hmm. And I know nothing has been easy. Just same, just different parents, different dads,
course,
and it's tough.
Yeah.
But what you have been able to build together, the link between you two, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is sweet. So thank you, Anthony, for this question. So now you have time. If there's 1 day, 1 minute, 10, something that will be there forever.
Well, I think the day he was born, for sure, was the greatest day.
Because, he's younger.
He's younger. So, and I remember anticipating him being there. I was so excited. And we've been so close and really like comrades in war. We always say we're comrades in war, because we don't have to talk every day. We're very different in the way we interact with the world, we're both artists, I guess, in a way, and entrepreneurs in a way. But
that's
when
he was born.
Yeah, when he was born.
You were, what age were you?
I was 5. 5. Yeah.
So we talk. It's funny when we mention your kids, you mention your puppies as well.
Yes.
So something that the people who don't know you well should know this. You love puppies. You love not only you love pets.
Kids,
you love animals.
The
truth is, you love a lot of things, and it's interesting. In your childhood, you started having a very good connection or strong connection. What was the name of Oliver? No, what's the name
Oliver.
of Oliver?
Oliver, yes.
That was, what kind of breed was this?
He was I think an Australian cattle dog. We don't know exactly, but I think it was an Australian.
What was your
cattle
first?
dog. 20 years. He was with me
You were
almost 20 years.
I know you were very so sad when he
It's
passed.
wild, yeah. It's a long time.
Yeah, it's funny, Oliver.
Blessed.
So let's move to the first big role. Just I was young and like a lot of other people, we were watching TV, more maybe TV than today. Now we have a lot of different platforms. At the time, everyone was watching TV, and there was one big show called Melrose Place.
Yeah.
And you landed this big role, one of the key character there. So Melrose Place, maybe if you can, for the people who haven't watched one, maybe they can still watch some on maybe YouTube or other. I'm sure we can still find some
somewhere. Yeah,
because during 7 years has been broadcasted in I think 100 countries. I think more than 1.5 billion people at some point watched it. So it was. So the question there is, it changes your path forever, for sure. But please, for the people who are watching just and listening to us, how did you, sing to see the what's behind the curtain? How did you find it? How they found you? Did you get an agent at the time? Were you just you and many others? Were you close to say no to it, or tell me more? Just if you remember, just you started it was 92, I think. So a few years back.
How do you remember all of this?
Because I'm working hard to be sure that I won't.
I'm sitting here thinking, how does he know all of this, and how does he remember all of this? You're incredible.
No.
What a beautiful mind you have.
Thank you. But anyway, so
yes.
Tell me. So it was for you. It would be this huge success when you read it. You had at the time we left you at 17 HB Studios. Now with a few years after this. So this is for you was D1?
Well, yes, because I worked from, about 17, 18, and then Melrose Place was, I think I was around 28. So this was like maybe 10 years after I started acting. And I had done a series for Aaron Spelling, who also did Melrose Place, called Kindred, The Embraced. It was a show about vampires, and I played a journalist in it. And after I had done that show, they offered me they offered the role in Melrose Place. And of course I was super excited because the show was already a success. It was already a proven success. And I came on the last 3 seasons, and I got to work with my friend Marcia Cross, who I knew sort of off camera, and become friends with. And then our storylines were a lot together too. So it was super fun. So I was very excited about it.
Because what you're saying just as well as for all those 10 years before Melrose Place was not always easy, right?
Right.
To get to get what you want. And I'm sure at the time you said, I want to do just big theater, just in movies and how, how did you find it just, and for everyone, because a lot of people, as you know, they have dreams. Like you had this dream at 17. So that's also something important to them. Just you're pushing them. At what time you think you need to unplug? Were you close to this? During those years, working hard, trying to act, not being super well paid, landing the big job. At some point, you self-doubt. You were saying just, man, maybe it's too hard. Did you ever call Anne, your mom, said, Mom, I need to do something else?
Yeah, of course, many times, Yeah, but I think that's part of any business, that you want to be successful at. You have to sort of dust yourself off and get back up, and go at it the next day. And it's also a mental thing. I think we all know that you have to sort of mentally keep yourself in a good place. And I used to just say, okay, all you have to do is this, this, and this, and it's a win for you. You just have to kind of, that's how you build resilience, So, yeah, there were many times I would come home and just cry, or I would just be like, oh my God, what am I doing? Or this is ridiculous. I mean, even when you're in the midst of working and things are good. You have moments of feeling these things. So it's partly, yes, I have these dreams, and are they ever going to happen? Am I ever going to build that dream? And then living that dream has its challenges. So there's always times when you have to sit and regroup.
In terms of agents, are they always key in the mix? Do you need to have a really good one? Are you with the same agent since that time? Did you change? Do you need to change? Tell us more. Just what's the behind the scene there?
Yeah, I had an amazing agent, Steve Glick, William Morris, for years.
So William Morris, it's one of the top
but
three.
Not anymore. I'm not. Okay. Yeah, this moment.
You have three big agencies in the U.S. where they deal directly with
exactly. He's one of the top.
The top one.
I met him. I had already had agents before him just to get, that helped me get started and were really great. And then when I met him, things really started to move. He was so good. And I was with him for quite a few years. And then he ended up, I think, leaving and going off and being a manager, or I don't know. And then I went off and did whatever. But he was when I think back, he was so important in my career because he really, not only did he just represent me, but he really believed in me. He was fun and creative. And so, so there's so many people along our path, right?
The other question that came after, years and years after, but something I want to discuss with you because it changed, but not enough, is the big, Weinstein scandal. So you come, Harvey Weinstein, just all the big issues with the Me Too system. How do you see this? Did you see this coming? Because you were New York by yourself, nice, beautiful, whatever, just adjective we can put there. But were you able? Did you see it coming? Were you just yourself? Sometimes, because I know a few friends, actresses, we had to fight back just to say no. It was the same for you, or same you were protected by something, and you were this bubble where just no one said anything just to Kelly.
Yeah, I think there have been subtle things. Thankfully, I hadn't had to deal with anything, like that. Let's say extreme like
meaningful.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's subtleties, with people. But I think you just have to learn how to handle it the best you can, and you have to say, okay, it's my job too to sort of say, okay, this isn't cool, or walk away. You know what I mean? I don't navigate things.
Yeah, but sometimes those guys.
Yeah. That's a whole nother level, though.
And allow you to walk away. So but you never had those.
Yeah, that's another level, which
never.
Thankfully, I didn't ever have to do.
But even in the industry for all those years, were you aware, or do you hear some noise about some of those people with so much so much power and influence that they were able to act this way?
You're very aware of the power and the sort of that. Certainly, I also believe that it's up to us to sort of decide. I never wanted it that bad. I love doing it, but it's never been worth it to me to do anything that felt that uncomfortable to me. I may have done something and said, "Oh, oops, maybe I shouldn't have gone that far on something or in work or something." But that's more. But I have to say that was my choice, and I decided to take that step or take that risk. Let's say in the film, and you can also,
But you never had this. I know a few people, even people who came here, actresses and for sure, just not actors, who said, "You know what? I've been asked out just to get a job, to do something specific, or even on stage, and the fact that I say no, I was thrown away and something. So at least no one ever asked you anything."
Well, and I think if they had, I probably would have just trusted the universe and said, okay, maybe this isn't my job.
I need to do something else.
Yeah, or different role or different agent or whatever I needed to do.
And what would you, in a piece of advice to the Kelly or anyone who sometimes want badly something and have to just manage that kind of extreme demands or stuff that shouldn't be asked? I know you fight, a lot for for not only feminism but for empowering just women. So for you, for me, it's still a big issue that men can still just act this way. So for you, what's any piece of advice about just stuff that should be done in that case? Just
well, a lot of
alert, because honestly, people didn't alert enough at the time. Just
yeah, I understand that. That happens a lot in many different businesses and cultures, and
Sure.
That's a global conversation as well. So,
speak out.
I think it's us managing our own energy as women. We're not taught how to do that in our culture, how to manage our own energy. So, and men too. It's really being taught how to manage our energy. And it's not something that's everywhere, because when we're in balance, it's incredibly powerful. That's why I think, yes, women's empowerment and all this, but it's also keeps us in a lower frequency talking about women's empowerment. So it's an awareness that men are wonderful, women are wonderful. It's individual. There are individuals who you want to stay away from or that should be held accountable. And if that's happening, everyone else can kind of be themselves and find their way. So it's really more about holding people accountable that do things that are inappropriate than it is us all having to, live our lives that way. So the best thing is integrity. If you have integrity and you don't need it that bad, anything in this world that would put you in a position where you're, you know what I mean? I mean, okay, if you had to, for the lives of your children, do something, you would do it. But what I mean is, in life, in general, for a job or work, you have to decide is it worth it to you? And if it is, then do it. And if it's not, don't. It's easier. I'm not trying to make it light or anything. I mean, what I'm trying to say is we have to also say, is it worth it? We all day, whether it's that or every choice we make all day long is a choice of.
Do you yourself, do you always ask this question before doing, any important decisions? Because sometimes, we can say it's fate, we'll take it, like it's normal. But sometimes, are you taking those questions, saying, yes, it's worth it or not? Worth it or not? Worth it or not?
Yeah, I think you do. You have to sort of say.
But this maybe now. But were you doing it when you were 25 or 30?
A little bit. I mean, I did jobs that probably now I'd look at and with a broader perspective, having worked and had experience may have made a different decision. But at that time, with the awareness that I had, it was a decision I made.
No, thank you for saying it. I think it's important. Sometimes we say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, yeah, but it's all about awareness.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was different. So it's always good to say it, and thank you for saying it. We'll dive into just the Gossip Girl episode in your life, big one as well. But before this, between just Melrose Place, I think ended maybe 99, and Gossip Girl, we started, I'm good with dates, but I think in the 07.
I think 2006, the end of 2006, we did the pilot, I believe.
So during those years, 6 years, you I can find you just some series again, just a few things, nothing just massive. That's those two big hits. So for, again, 6 years doing a lot of things. How do you manage this for you personally between having seen everywhere and the goal after this? We are in 99 was I want to be the next Lauren Bacall and being everywhere, and I want to do movies, or was I love theories so much because it's a different kind of acting. If I want to be with you in 99, just ending it, what was this new direction or the direction you want to give to your journey?
There was a little bit of that, obviously wanting to go on to the next thing and have it be successful and have it be something that was a good quality production that I'd be proud of doing. And And at the same time, I realized that it was important to also just go to work. I wasn't going to just sit around and wait, necessarily for those things. So I went to work as much as I could and did work that I enjoyed, and there's just always been something, not that I haven't had a lot of doubts or pity parties or been down or, about things. It's just that something in me trusts that I will be guided where I'm supposed to be, and that sometimes I just have to get out of my own way to allow those things in, because what can be created is so much more than I could even imagine.
So you a big believer in fate and destiny?
I believe that.
Do you believe?
Oh, yes, I believe.
Something bigger.
I believe. I feel. I know.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's stronger than that. You don't really believe. You know.
Yeah.
I love it.
How can we not?
Sometimes
it's. I mean, we have moments. That's what I mean. We have moments, but the moments are when we're disconnected from that. Those are the moments, because when we're in that flow of the universe provides, I trust, I allow. It happens, and when we resist is when we push ourselves into this area of. It's when we get depressed. It's when we get sad. It's when we doubt.
And that's the Kelly of today, but the Kelly 20 years ago was the same?
Similar. I mean, it's a Jedi training for sure. It's definitely a Jedi training.
Yoda, I will call you Yoda.
But I was reading the books, creative visualization. I read a lot of books, The Artist's Way, The Force, which was, though it's Star Wars, one of my favorite films, was based on by Stuart Wilde.
Which episode?
I like the early. I like the early ones.
So
I like the vintage, the vintage Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like all of them, but especially the early one. So I was always reading about these things, about the
destiny. There's a reason. There's a reason, for everything.
And our energy, it's an interactive universe.
But sometimes people can say, I'm like you, believe in fate, destiny, but sometimes people can say, you know what, maybe I don't have to work harder, because maybe fates and I will get something. You were a big believer of this fate and destiny. Were you working super hard as well? Or?
Yeah, I have an incredible work ethic. I have since I was a kid. My mother said when I was 9, I came in and said, I want to make money. I want to paper route. I want to do something. I was ready. I was just ready. And so she took me around and we did this paper route. And then she said, I got so many people to sign up for this paper that she couldn't deliver them. She was like, this is too many people. I love doing things. I love creating. I have a million ideas all the time.
That's the entrepreneurial side of you. So you mentioned that end of 06, 07, the start of Lily, the mom, you here. I want to just say, same question as with Melrose Place. Where did it start? So this time, who started just the start of the casting, and who did the interviews? Where did you start? Who called you the director? It was through your agents. It was a friend of yours. Tell me more, bring me back in 06 when everything started.
Yeah, it was through my agent. I had read for the OC originally, and it was 3 Kellys. It was Kelly Rowan, Kelly Lynch, and Kelly Rowe. We all read for this role, which I think the role was even named. I don't even remember the role's name. But anyway, we all were getting ready to test for it. We had all read for it, and we were getting ready to test for it. And then I got another job. So I had another test before I had that test. Testing meaning you go in and you audition, and it's in front of the studio, right? A studio test. So I got another show called Threat Matrix, where I was a Homeland Security. I was an interrogator and Homeland Security agent. So I was running around with guns and taking, courses with the SWAT teams instead of being a mom in the OC.
Upper East Sider.
Right, which was Orange County, right? The same producers did the OC that did Gossip Girl. So when Gossip Girl came around, they asked me to read, and I went in a room and I read. It was, I had just had a baby. I just had Hermes. So he was in the car seat. My hair was wet. I just got in the shower and ran over there to read. And And then they offered it to me. So I had a relationship a bit before. I knew them. I knew their work. They knew me. So it was really a nice gift.
And
Yeah.
and when so that was the tests, the studio test. So when you ended it, the test, you said, "Wow, it was pretty pretty rough with Hermes and the car seat and
Yeah.
everything." You got it. Sam, if we move on just a few months, so at the start this was tiny budget, right? Now even just on the show, I think you brought your own bags,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, because now it's easy to see this back to the huge, massive, again, another huge success of Gossip Girl is not one generation, it's a cross generation. Is this one is even it's really massive. But what will be interesting to understand for the listeners and viewers is what was it at the start? Is when you were reading everything, you said, "Oh, that will be that kind of hit," or you said, "Okay, it will be nice. We'll do one season." All the other actors were not maybe. No, not
Matthew had done some things.
Caroline, your mom.
Yeah.
So but it was not just Blake Lively. It was not what she is now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how you feel about this? The casting, everything. You said? Oh, it will be nice, 1 year, fun, or you knew this it will be big.
I had a good idea because I know that the network was really behind it, and that always helps, regardless of everything else. You can think it's going to be the greatest hit in the world and have the best cast, and then if the studio is not really 100% behind it, and they're not going to promote it and blah, blah, blah. So
The
I
CW.
knew, right. I knew that they wanted to build the CW, and Dawn Ostroff, who was the head of the CW, is an amazing, amazing woman. So we had an idea. We had at least we had the studio behind us. They were gonna.
It's a good start.
Yes. And it's a good script. And obviously, Josh and Stephanie, who did the OC, were coming off that success into this show. So there were many, many good elements to it.
But when, I know sometimes that's what I'm sure you have experienced during the shooting and during the time where it was, everything has been done.
Yeah.
You can quickly feel if, it's going well, if the recipe will be okay. And
Yeah.
when did you feel it? Just not only just the script and CW, but when you said, wow, after what, a week, 2 weeks, a month, you said,
I think when the ad campaign started coming out,
okay,
I thought, oh, this is good. This is good. And they did such a great job.
editing.
Yeah, promoting it, editing it, getting all the kids out there promoting. Yeah.
Ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT, very good friend. Ask ChatGPT, what was the most iconic TV shows of all time? So what do you think?
I don't know. It's got to be one of them.
So,
I would hope.
Maybe not. Maybe it's just.
I would hope.
Maybe it will be
Maybe
hard.
it's not,
I'll ask
but-
you and you have nothing.
It would be really nice if
So,
it is.
but would you, if you were ChatGPT, will be the top 5 for you?
Friends is an iconic
one.
show, right? I know that.
Are you watching?
No, I don't watch TV very much. I used to go to movies. I love less now, just because I'm
When was the
traveling
kids?
and everything's in French. But no,
good for you.
Yes, exactly. It is good for me, mostly because I'm traveling out. Just the last maybe year or two, haven't seen as many.
So, Friends, another one.
Friends would be iconic. I know. Tell me. I'm
No,
bad. I'm
but-
bad with this.
Sopranos?
I don't watch what Sopranos. Yes, huge. Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones.
Okay, another one.
Oh.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Love Breaking Bad.
So
Okay.
you watched them, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And
Gossip Girl.
nice, done.
Wow,
Imagine this.
we're on
That's
that
not
list.
me.
I'm so
That's
excited.
not me. Is ChatGPT.
Yeah. Love Game of Thrones. Oh.
I was asking you, when did you really see it will become a success? But now it's not only a success. That's what is interesting to me. It's a phenomenon. No, it's for a lot of the generation. Why you think so? It's why it speaks so well for so many people. It's in New York. Is pretty upper class. So it's not everyone.
Yeah.
Still, a lot of people relate to this. Why do you think so?
It is kind of everyone, though, because
So why?
you have the families, you have the kids dealing with the parents dealing with the kids. You have, the Upper East Side versus Brooklyn. You have...
I was living in Brooklyn. So
right?
it's,
You have social media, which very few shows, I don't think that I know of, had dealt with social media and that connection, which is why I think it's in some ways still, relevant. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, but I can find other fun series.
Yeah.
And this one, there's something. People, there's something.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's why I'm always trying to understand why. And with someone like you, I would have known. It's just why, when you discuss together, even with the crew, with the people, why suddenly just 15 years after? I can mention so many series that 15 years after, we even don't remember the name of it. This one is not only we remember the name, but every generation, so there was my kids. You know this, my kids. All of them, not the 6-year-old, but all of them.
Right.
I've watched it.
Yeah.
So I think it's...
the writing was good. It was, sometimes
it's a great
it does
recipe.
take, how does anything, building a business or investing in something can look really great and you think it's the greatest thing. And then you're like, why didn't it come together? And it's the same when they do, you're just.
The question of the crew, the team, the cast. So it's 5 seasons. How many seasons? 5?
5.5, I think. Yeah, 5.5.
5.5. Because it was only a few episodes for the finale.
I don't know. I think they made
no more budget.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. But
too expensive.
I know
Kelly.
they cut it short for some reason. But
it's same cast for 5 years and a half.
Yes.
Ish. You have new, but almost the same. The main characters were there. Within this cast, a few have been global, at least in terms of successful actresses or actors. Ed, you like very much.
I see a lot. Yeah.
Blake.
Yes.
And do you have still a connection all together? Do you have, WhatsApp group together now?
No,
it's too cheesy for you just now for us.
But I see Taylor Mumsen every once in a while, or we chat. Leighton, I used to see her more. Obviously, she's had family, and we're all working and running around. Caroline, who plays my mom, Matthew.
Yeah, it's still. So I think Matthew was also.
Yes.
Yes. Well, you said yes. I didn't say anything.
Well, we're
dating. You were dating, right?
No,
you didn't.
Never.
I'm sad.
I know, my kids were like, you didn't? I was like, no.
Really? Why?
They're so cute.
Why?
Because
Emma said this?
No, they tease me because it's on the internet. It's on somewhere on TikTok.
I never asked you before.
No.
Never.
We're still good friends. No,
never?
Seriously, I would tell you. Why wouldn't I tell you?
I'm not sure. Maybe cameras and
no. I would tell you at this point. Why not? Yeah, no, we're very good friends, and we were going through similar things. We both just had babies. His wife had a baby. I had a baby. Then I was pregnant. So it just wasn't. But we connected. Both of our families were from Tennessee. We had a lot in common, and we really care about each. We care about each other. We probably could have, to be honest. Okay, I wouldn't have because I was married, but he was married, so it would have been a little awkward in many ways. Not for at least it wasn't that we weren't that French. We weren't like that. Okay, we're like no. We have too much of it. So no, but I was like we didn't because I couldn't. I believe it made the chemistry better that we didn't. And I felt that way so strongly that even when we weren't married, each of us weren't married, it made the chemistry better.
Because sometimes I think people watching, we're waiting to get this first kiss.
Of course,
and that's what you were saying about the chemistry.
But it kept it going.
But the thing is also, that's interesting what you're saying, but sometimes some couples could get together on sets.
Of course. Or at the office, anywhere.
Talking about Gossip Girl, they had one reboot.
They did have the spin-off of Gossip Girl, or a new Gossip Girl.
So it was a
new
failure.
Gossip Girl.
Total failure. Did you watch it?
I saw the
Yes.
first episode or two. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I
Which
saw some of it.
Broadcast, you remember?
I don't know.
I remember.
I don't know, because it was a young actor, Eli, who I had worked with on Pretty Little Liars, and he got the role. And I remember him reading for it when we were doing Pretty Little Liars. So I was so excited for him.
But
Yeah.
that thing is only one season, I think.
It was one season, but it was a different take. They could have maybe done like Star Wars, where they had a few of us come on, pass the baton, and then gone with the story. But it's always easy in hindsight to do that. And I think what they did was interesting. I mean, I thought it was cool. I think it was cool. You know, what I saw was cool.
One episode. At least.
I don't watch any. I've only seen probably 10 episodes of Gossip Girl. Seriously, I've seen like maybe 20.
You watch only 10?
No, maybe 20. I had 2 babies. Okay, I had a 6-month-old when we started, and then I got pregnant. I was pregnant. Then I gave birth. Then I had 2 little babies. So I would
no
just.
time.
I watched it, but very. I
That
didn't
could be now, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
your kids watch that? Yes.
I think so.
They never.
They're kind of funny. They're like,
I will ask
yeah.
them.
They're like, yeah, you know.
Because all their friends. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yes.
All their friends.
They're friends for sure.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's funny. They never told you so.
I think they see me really as like mom. I think they really separated.
Interesting. And how do you feel? It's interesting. How do you, Lily and Kelly, they are, 80% similar, 50% similar, 1% similar
To what?
between the Lily and
to
Gossip
Lily.
Girl to Kelly in
Well,
their life.
the similarity is that it was so nice to have a role of a woman that was much more like the women I grew up with. My mother was that way. She loved fashion. She was really elegant. My grandmother, the same. So I hadn't really seen a mother portrayed that way. Maybe an the version or a comedic version, right? So it was just an opportunity to sort of take all the things that I love and put them in a character. And it was great. It was fun.
We talk, and it's not Anne, but we will listen to a new pose, and it's a new question. We just talk about Gossip Girl, the cast. We'll listen to a question from your mom, Caroline.
Hi, Kelly. It's your Gossip Girl mom, Carolyn, a.k.a. Cece. I have a question for you. Both you and I have worked with so many directors, both on Gossip Girl and hundreds of other TV shows. And I was wondering if you had a couple of favorite directors, and what were the qualities that they had in common, the kind of things that you like to see in a director. And number 2, when are you going to direct? You would be absolutely amazing. XOXO.
Aw, she's talking about our mutual friend Norman, who directed Gossip Girl, and we're very close with. He's amazing. He directed me with in Dynasty as well.
Again, thank you, Caroline.
Yes,
She's
Caroline,
so
thank you.
sweet. You know that she was born in Paris. Do you know this?
No, I didn't know she was born. I know she's Swedish, and she was raised, and she went to
we're
boarding
Swedish.
schools.
She was born in Paris, Caroline.
Didn't know.
She does speak French.
Yes, she
Yes.
speaks French,
Yeah,
Swedish,
she's
English.
wonderful. So anyway, actress,
German,
run-on. So it's
Yes.
super nice. Thank you, Caroline, for the question.
You. Yeah.
So 2 things. The director you admire.
Yes, Norman.
And what do you think when she's saying you should direct? Is that something somewhere here?
Yes, like if somebody had an emergency situation and they said, Kelly,
They can call you.
the director didn't show up. I would probably be like, okay, I can do it. I can totally do
I will
this.
manage.
I can do it. But if I think about it too much, it's quite overwhelming, the thought of directing. I know a lot of people want to do it and love it. I really love acting. I love producing. I love, I would direct, for sure I would direct.
But between I will do everything to direct is 2 different things.
2 different things.
Will you put enough energy?
No.
And no. So it's only if someone is calling you saying,
I could do
Kelly,
it. Like if somebody said, we have a theater production, we need Kelly to come work with the actors, or we need, I can see what she's saying, because I think in terms of creative direction or acting, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have.
Thank you, Caroline.
Yes, thank you again. We have another pose, but it will be a Gossip Girl pose.
Okay.
So, it's. I give you two choices, and we have to tell which one you prefer. Okay, between the two.
Okay.
Easy. You understand why it's Brooklyn or Upper East Side?
Upper East Side.
Rufus or Bart?
I like both. I did like both. It's tough. I mean, haven't we all been in that position where we're like,
I'm a broken guy.
amazing
You
this
understand?
way.
I'm a broken guy. So it's
Yeah. But I really liked. I thought
that's the issue. That's your issue.
I'll tell you why. Because the story,
it's
totally her issue. Because it's each one is so different and each one is so interesting. And sometimes with our personalities, we're a little bit Brooklyn and we're a little Upper East Side. You know.
So then this one could be easier: Rufus waffles or brunch at the Empire Hotel.
Waffles, definitely the waffles.
Paris Getaway, one episode, or Weekend in the Hamptons?
I like Paris. Paris Getaway, probably.
Old Money or New Money?
Old Money.
Champagne at the gala or martini at the rooftop bar?
I'm not a big rooftop bar person, but a martini would be. Yeah, champagne.
Martini at the gala.
Martini at the gala.
Gossips or secrets?
Secrets.
You mentioned the fact your mom, your family, this sense of elegance. You become fashion. I'm not sure how can I phrase it well. You are becoming, or you became, a fashion influencer. Now I see you, and I can see you in Milan and Paris fashion shows, just giving your opinion on things. You got millions of followers on Instagram. It's not Instagram of Gossip Girl or whatever. It's your way of dressing and everything. It's so people. You should go on Kelly's Instagram. is so well done. It's beautiful. Still, what's this connection? I want you to understand why it's so important. From this iconic, woman, mom, TV star. I can, and it's funny, it's Flo, my wife, we're discussing together about you and how much we like you. And she was telling me, Alex, now she's seen more and more as the new Anna Wintour. I said, what? So, how much we like you, but still, you have this kind of, easy peasy stuff where it's not strict, but it's real. When did everything start? Yes, I understand you like fashion and you were always just in ladies, someone was like this, but there was something happened one day, someone. No.
When? Do you mean since Gossip Girl?
Yes.
Okay.
Last few years, just 10 years ago, I didn't see you. I never saw you just in this circuit. So
right.
One day someone called you?
I think, again, it's just really trusting. It was really, I was walking the dogs every day in LA during COVID. And I was like, God, I need that paper route, I want to do something and I want to feel productive, So I had a couple scripts written. I started taking pictures in this kind of old mirror in my parents' building where I was staying because I didn't expect to stay there. I was going to visit, And so I just started posting some brands into my stories from their feed to create sort of like a magazine every day, like a little editorial every day of brands. These, some of these sort of emerging brands. And I thought, how are they going to get through this time? How are we all going to get, how are we going to do this? And between all of us doing our lives and figuring out, cleaning our closets and doing all those things, I just start. And so some of those brands said, can we send you something? And I said, sure, that's so sweet. And of course, I'm sitting there like, why not? So they would send something and then I would just post it.
The first brand you did post, the first one you put this.
I don't know the first one, but there were a lot of, and then this young girl had reached out to me and wanted to do the shopping platform. So I helped her reach out to like maybe 3,000 brands and onboard them to this platform. And then, so it was just it just happened naturally out of a desire to sort of do something and feel useful.
In 2020.
And And so that's kind of how it happened. And then when I was in Monaco, the elevator was like a little light box. It had perfect lighting. And I thought, this is great. I can just do it in here and get on my way. And
because that's also your style. Now, how many pictures?
my daughter was like, what are you doing? Can I at least show you how to hold the phone? I was like, yeah.
Well, it could be helpful.
Show me how to use the phone, how to hold it. She's so
cute.
Yeah, it was a combination of things because it was partly just keeping, busy and wanting to be of service in some way or help. And then create awareness. And then my daughter and I went on a road trip, and I had kind of taken some time off. I'd been kind of quiet a little bit. And she, in a very Nancy Myers way, said, Mom, it's time for you to get on with your life and go back to work. Like, get married, have a big house out here in the countryside. We were taking a drive through the countryside in Italy on our way to Rome. So it was partly that. It was just sort of that it was okay to kind of go back full-time to work,
So when you started this was little brands, and then suddenly, what was the first big brand? Said, Kelly, I saw this, you have hundreds and hundreds and millions of followers, and we love your style. It's not only, I know a lot of people with millions of followers, it's not only this, it's the way you dress and the style you give. So who was the first brand who said, Kelly, join, or can we be, with you?
Yeah, I think it was great. My friend Sydney, who I've known for years, we knew each other in our late 20s or early 20s, maybe even in New York. She just invited me to go to Dior. We've known each other for many, many years. And so she invited me to go to Dior. And then I started working with this agent, Edward. And so it just it really naturally, again, it was one of those things I wouldn't have even been able to think of myself. It was just
so now how many run shows, how many of them are you doing? I'm sure you invited
I don't even know.
I just go to all them.
I'm just enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I love fashion. I love seeing the shows. I'm enjoying being out in the world and doing something that I love and I enjoy, and it's given me a lot of freedom to be with my children and be with my dogs and travel. And that's what I love to do.
But you're invited, but are you paid? Are you making money out of it?
Yeah, sometimes, sure.
We want Kelly. That's nice. I remember one picture was, I think, Jean-Paul Gaultier, maybe a picture of you and Kelly.
Kylie.
Jenner.
Well, we're both moms.
That's for sure.
We're both entrepreneurs. She's a hugely successful entrepreneur. I know her mother. Her mother actually, when the news came out that I was going through a divorce, was one of the first people to walk up and give me a hug, and was so kind to me and her daughters, and Kim too. So, I had never met Kylie, and I didn't know I was even sitting next to her. I walked in and I was like, what is all of this? What are these bodyguards doing here? So it was kind of
for you.
Again, I just sort of walked into it, and she's so incredibly beautiful, and she was very kind. I just asked her about her mom and her kids, and her kids were, I think, there in Paris with her at the time. And so, we're all, at the end of the day, we're all moms or entrepreneurs on some level. She's just been so hugely successful at it and works very hard. And so it was really cool to meet her,
So have you, do you have her just WhatsApp number?
No, I don't have her WhatsApp number.
So at least you talk to them all.
Yeah.
A few months back, I was in Milan, not for the fashion show, but we're there and everywhere. Everywhere I was going, your face.
Our mutual friend Mathilde. No,
so that's it was 4x3, as we say, 4x3. Just you are the face of another brand, but it's not fashion brand. It's very different, but I think relates very well with what you Caudalie, but what you say, it's inner beauty. So it's not only just what we can see about you, but what is also inside. And yes, Caudalie, very successful international brand now. Even if everything started in Bordeaux, in France, was no Mathilde and Bertrand, wife and husband, there's wonderful people.
Yeah.
But still, just what is interesting, I was in Milan, and you were just everywhere there. Just it's in the same in other countries. But my point about this is new for you. This time is now just being seen as in runway shows and everything. Is now is you're the face of a brand, and the brand that I really do like is not the watch, is for everyone, and it's about beauty.
Yeah.
So how did you start this? So they came to see you, said that you will connect well with the brand. Did you hesitate at some point saying, oh, that's very new to me and it will be something different? What was the process on your side?
Well, Florence knows Mathilde. We all know Mathilde and Bertrand from New York, because our kids were all kind of, not, hers were a bit older, I think, and that whole group from the French Lycée. So I met her then, and I went to some of her events when, it was how many years ago, but the brand was amazing and newer than it is now. Now it's an established, huge, well-known brand. I think it was then too, but anyway, so she
was
asked
small.
me.
When you met them 10 years ago,
when we met them, they were definitely building.
Now
it's huge. It's incredible what they've done, and their values are so admirable. And she just asked me to come over to her house and to
sign a contract.
Hang out. And so we were in a beautiful garden, and her husband was there. In the beginning, she and I just chatted for a bit, and then her daughter came in, her husband, and she
didn't
asked
see
me
anything
if
coming.
I did not see. No. I think it was like raining. I was like, it was just, I thought we were just going to
like
sit
Gossip
down,
Girl
have a glass of the family wine and just, catch up as women, So it was a real surprise.
And you said yes.
Of course. I
Same,
mean,
yeah.
Yes.
No hesitation.
No, I'm so happy to work with her and such a beautiful brand.
I do agree. We love the brand.
Really?
It's a French brand, but really international. It's wonderful work and
very clean
good,
brand.
really good, very, very good people. They involved also in the non-profit side of things. They give a lot of money. It's very important to them. With their 3 kids. We'll keep going, and maybe someone else has a question for you.
Oh.
So listen up.
Hi, Kelly. I'm Mathilde from Caudalie. I was super happy that after all those years, we were able to finally work together. And I have a question for you. What was the first thing you felt when you saw the campaign?
It's interesting because it just felt like home. It's such a strange way to describe it, but it felt like home because I knew the brand so well. I loved the brand. I loved the family involved in the brand. And their whole team is so incredible, so incredible. So I felt, I kept thinking I would feel different, but it felt so...
But when you saw you...
Yes.
It's
exciting. It's
so
super exciting.
The first day, the first minute, where did you sit first?
At the
Galerie Lafayette.
Galerie Lafayette. Thank you, Galerie Lafayette.
The huge. It's not even a 4x3.
We had lunch with Florence.
It's a 10 by
Coco,
10.
and then she walked me over, and then she's like, "There it is." I had no idea. It was going to be everywhere, and that it was going to be like that. So it was really, I'm very touched. It was a very beautiful experience for me. So,
and it's again, great campaign and very, very beautiful brand. Keep talking about beauty. Something important about beauty, and a lot of things about beauty is aging. Mm-hmm. Because why is
it's just funny aging.
The point is sometimes you go with the flow. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't accept going with the flow.
Right.
What I've found beautiful with you is you go with the flow. So maybe you're lucky with the genes and a lot of things, but you go with the flow.
Yeah.
And even if you go and guys, if you want to look at this commercial, there's no Photoshop there.
Yeah.
It's Kelly. The Kelly you have here, the Kelly was, and again, you age so well, but still, you are not Photoshopping anything. And to me, it's important. So that's the point here is it was easy, and this process of aging for you, it's what it is, and back to the fate and destiny is what it is. It's life, and or you. I'm not saying that you are using the Caudalie product for sure. That's why.
Yeah, I love the products. Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But behind,
Yes.
beside this, aging, and talking about aging, there's a huge success movie. Is Demi Moore, The Substance.
Yeah.
And it's I think for the first time, finally, we are in your industry specifically. I mean, the artist industry. It's a big topic.
It is. It's been a big topic for a long time.
For actresses, to be
for
honest,
actresses,
not for actors. Less for actors.
Yeah, I think it's that same women's empowerment thing. I think it keeps us in a frequency, and it keeps us buying products, and it keeps us, in a loop. So I think it's a wonderful thing to, no matter how you want to age, it's fine, in my opinion. That's how I feel about aging, is that if you want to go and get a nip and a tuck because it's available, and thank goodness it's available, right? It's nice that it's available. And if you also want to age more naturally and just kind of see what happens along the way, and you can change your mind. I figure you can change your mind, you can go do whatever. So I think it's a frequency.
And you can change opinion as well. That's important.
Exactly.
Also. Whatever you think now could be different in 5 years.
Exactly, because you can go down the path and say, now I want to look a little more like this, or the important thing is that we get our mind right and our energy right. That's the most important thing.
What we call the alignment.
The rest it's fun. It's like buying clothes. I mean, you can go get stuff done, like you can go buy a new handbag. It's great. It's great that we have these opportunities. And each person is so individual about how they feel about it, or in the culture they were raised in, or, it's very different in different cultures as well.
Talking about the evolution of your industry, not the current industry of fashion, because that could be your industry now, or beauty, but the other industry so well. When Gossip Girl, Melrose Place was TV only. TV, 6, 10, 15, 20 channels, but that was TV. Now it has changed so much. How do you picture this? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's now you don't have to be an actor to only go through movies, Netflix, Prime, and you have also millions and millions and millions of viewers. So what do you think? You think it's changed, and you like this change, or do you think it should be more like it was in the past? And if you really want to enjoy 90 minutes or 2 hours of a play, you need to go at the theater. Or do you think it's okay, evolution?
It's just energy taking new forms, right? It's the new forms of expression, right, that are kind of coming out, right? New ways of doing things, new ways of telling stories. And it's wonderful. We still have the old ways, and those should still exist. It's like we can still make a traditional movie and then make a movie with AI. Why not? Why do they have to be, what would you say, mutually exclusive? Why can't you do both?
But do you think, if you take 10 years ago, still a movie on Netflix was not as special?
Yes.
Remember, even the Academy Award was saying, no, we don't take this movie on Netflix. It did change. So do you think if tomorrow I'm coming, said I would direct you on Netflix or on for movie theaters, for you it will be the same, or you will still see, there's something I prefer?
It's all the same. I mean, it's the same.
It's all the same for you.
And because it depends on the role, who you're working with, and the opportunity, right? It's more than less, and it's less about where, obviously you want to be on a platform that people see it, ideally. We can share it. But even now, everyone's making a mini movie every day on their Instagram. They're telling stories, right? There's different forms, and I think it's going to continue. Fashion brands like Chanel, are doing Barbie. Barbie is a Chanel Barbie, right? So
evolution here. That's what you're saying.
So it's all going to be more integrated as well in terms of marketing, film.
How do you define your why? Why are you here? Have you been able to define it? Beside the fact that you want to be the mom to your two wonderful kids?
I definitely think I think it's love. I think that's why I'm here, for love.
Everyone?
Yes, obviously.
To share that love.
Yeah, I mean, if we were all to meditate every day on sending love out to the world and to people and to, and visualize what we really wanted the world to look like, instead of focusing on what's being put out to us all day long, things would shift, because we'd all be in a different, I'm not going to use the word again, but we would.
Frequency.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to give a piece of advice to the Kelly in her early 20s in New York, what will be this piece of advice? You said, do something specifically. What will be it?
I think a lot it was...
maybe don't change.
No, for sure. There were things I could... all the time. It's always realigning, right?
Beware of men, right?
Not at all. I love men. I work with men all the time. I love it. For me, I love men and women. It's an individual thing. It's that person's energy and who they are. It's not whether they're
some men hurt you. That's what I was saying.
Do what?
Some men hurt you.
Yeah, I went through a big divorce, but I still have love in my heart for this person. We had children together. It was a huge learning experience for me. It really made me aware of things that I'm so thankful today that I'm aware of, and I don't know that I would have been. So it was, sometimes it doesn't, at the time you don't realize this, certainly, and it doesn't feel like it's a great thing.
Oh, no.
No.
But as you said earlier, when you look at Basil,
it's like giving birth. It looks like, oh my God, it looks, it's so hard to, go through and watch. But at the same time, look what comes out of it is this beautiful baby.
So piece of advice?
Yeah. Piece of advice would be just to get up every morning and start fresh. Get up every morning and to heal. Take time for yourself and heal. Whatever you need to heal. It's like, yeah.
So at the end of it, so to thank you, Kelly. So to wrap things up, two final questions. One, do you have one getaway destination where you want to pose? Do you say, I need time for me? There's one place you love going.
It's usually the countryside with animals. Just anywhere. Honestly, in a beautiful countryside.
There's one.
I haven't found quite. I was in the Cotswolds. I love the Cotswolds. I mean, even the Hamptons is beautiful in the country. Any place that there's like horses and fields and trees and birds and just nature. Yeah, nature.
And you like walking? I
love walking. Even in the rain. I love putting the wellies on and walking the dogs in the rain. Yeah.
And last question for you. Now you've been through this pose experience with me. Do you have anyone you like? You said, we should come here in UC. Do you have one person I should call? I said, hey, come and we'll invite you. Do you have one guest I should have here?
Oh, there's so many.
There's one you like. Many. When you sing it.
Florence would be one. Your wife.
That's my wife.
She'd be.
That would be
I
weird.
Want to hear that podcast.
That would be weird.
That's the podcast
that would be
I
weird.
want to hear.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It would be amazing.
That would be fun.
It would be so amazing.
Do you have someone else?
I just worked with a French director named Ruben Alves on Escort Boys, not just a couple of years ago. He's amazing. He's truly amazing. He'd be someone interesting to talk with. There's so many. I mean.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
If someone wants to reach out to you saying, Kelly, I have a question, something I loved about what you just said, something about just her journey or his journey, what is the best way to reach out to you? It's Instagram. There's some way they can find you.
Instagram is good.
And you're able to sometimes to answer some of them?
Sometimes, yeah.
You're receiving lots of those?
It depends. Sometimes, yeah.
Today's the best, Sunday between 5 and 7 in the morning. That's when they can reach out to you.
3 in the morning when I'm up and can't sleep.
So guys, be careful.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kelly.
You are amazing. I'm so happy you're doing this. You're so...
I love you.
What a beautiful experience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with me.
Here.
Thank you all for taking the time to pose with us. I hope the episode has inspired you, made you think, or entertained you. If so, I count on you to share it with your friends and family. Leave a comment and give it a 5-star rating. If you'd like to suggest future guests or share your feedback, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or via email at lookbookcastpose@gmail.com.